Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Coffee Break Podcast. Listen, it's a beautiful Saturday evening, guys. Saturday, October 26th to be exact. Today's a little bit different, though.
Yeah.
Because we got a little addition to the mix, a little collaboration over here. The melting of two worlds, CBP x AFK. I want you guys to introduce yourselves before we even get off anything, man. Who are you guys?
Hi guys, I'm Very Big Selly.
Hey.
I'm from AFK.
Hi guys, Fantasy. I'm also from AFK.
All right, AFK. And
Can I introduce
we
myself?
also got an interdimensional member. Yo. He's crossing
I'm in the
sides.
middle of y'all. Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be here. I'm from AFK. I'm also part of the Coffee Break Podcast.
Go. Talk to him. And I'm your host. My name is Slim, as always, and this is my brother over here.
Mukhtar.
And yo, we got a nice episode for you guys today. We got a whole slate of things to go through. Without further ado, let's get it started, all right? I need you guys' opinions. I need the energy. I need your brains on. There's a lot of guys in here, so a lot of masculine energy is going to be thrown around, all right? So, like, let's try and keep it, like, neutral, but at the same time, give us all.
I got you, bro.
All right?
I got you.
All right.
Bet.
Without further ado, all right. The thing we love to do the most, we like to be the judgments of other people's misery, guys.
Facts.
I love that.
We like to give them our opinion, even though they didn't ask for it.
100%.
But they're putting it on the internet, so we might as well,
Facts.
All right, so let's get it started.
Mhm.
Today, am I the asshole? Number one. All right. Am I the asshole for asking my husband to stop texting his female coworkers at home?
He's crazy for that to begin with.
But let's get into it.
Nah,
Let's
nah,
see.
right off of the title.
What?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
However, there could be
What type of texting?
It's
though?
Nah,
work,
it's
bro.
It depends on the
there's
type
so
of
much
texting.
to it. You know what I mean? Like,
You know?
it's
Adultery.
No.
right on already.
Adultery.
Already.
Why you jumping into that already?
Nah, spiritual adultery.
No.
No. It doesn't have to be that.
We'll see though.
It could just be
Spiritual
two
adultery,
people.
That's what I'm going with right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Wish
Okay.
them the best.
So my husband is an investment banker, the type that works on IPOs. And right now he has a team of 4 people that he leads, 3 women and 1 man. So I guess he's the only man in this scenario of his
Okay.
team. I really wish his team was all men, but he has said that he had no choice. They were just appointed to him. It bothers me because he will go into business trips. He'll go on business trips a lot more, and usually with some of the women with him involved. These women are all young, mid to late 20s, all gorgeous from what I've seen in pictures. What really irks me is how much they text outside of work. At night, my husband texts them back within minutes when he's even at home. He says he needs to be there to answer all their questions because they still have a lot of work to do, but I feel like it's overkill. We've been fighting about this because I feel like he's ignoring my fears and he thinks that I'm being unreasonable. He says his female coworkers are the only reason he's able to have a home and be at home by 8 p.m. And if she can't handle him texting, and if I can't handle texting, then he can always stay later in the office with them.
Oh.
I told my sister, who works in a similar industry, about this, and recently she just called me a spoiled brat.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Just looking for outside opinions. It did not lead to anywhere. But now it got me thinking about this story in general. So am I the asshole for bringing this up?
Is his wife the asshole?
She's asking.
Yes, she's the asshole, bro.
Why?
He's
Why?
working.
Why?
He's
Talk about it.
working.
Talk about it.
He's working. He's talking about investment banking.
But he's not working at home.
Exactly.
So
So why?
it's a 24/7 job. He's making them bands, right? Is she working?
Probably. But that we don't know. We don't know if she's working.
Okay.
Let's just assume she's not for the
Yeah.
sake of the story, because it doesn't seem like she's like he seems like the breadwinner of their house.
Yeah.
But like using
So
that
if he's-
scenario.
Yeah. So if he's working and he's talking to his coworkers, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
It's after hours though.
Why did she? First of all, why did she mention that they're very beautiful? Who cares? They're coworkers.
Why did she
That's
mention
her,
it?
though.
I understand.
And
it.
actually, a question: why did you say that while smiling?
I just always smile. That's all, bro. I always
Why
smile.
You're just a happy guy. You know?
I'm always smiling.
Just a happy
He
guy.
has a motive. He has a motive.
Yeah,
I picture somebody right now.
He's just a happy guy.
I'm always smiling, bro.
Okay, go ahead. Keep
But
going.
like, no. But he's not the. I mean, he's not an asshole. She's the asshole, bro. Just let your man work. Let him bring home the bread.
Mhm.
He's coming home to you. He's good, bro.
Okay.
It's coming home at 8 p.m.
Come home at 8 p.m., bro.
Not staying late in the office.
What do you think?
Okay, this is a tricky one because the way he responded to her,
That's what I was going
Kinda
to say.
throws me
That's what I
off
was
a
gonna-
little bit, you know?
He threatened her
yeah.
in a way. He was like, "I can come home 8 p.m. if you want."
He
Or
basically said,
past 8 p.m.
I can do dirt if you want me to do dirt.
Mm.
That's what he told her pretty
No,
much.
he didn't. Yo,
How did you not understand it like that?
broski, bro. He said, if you want me to work late, I'll work late. Is that not what he just said?
Well, let me repeat it verbatim. So
Okay,
there's
so
no
repeat it, bro.
Verbatim.
Repeat it.
He said,
Just looking to figure out.
No, repeat it, bro. This guy lets people off the hook
He
pretty
says-
easy.
No.
he says his female coworkers are the only reason he's able to have a home and be home by 8 p.m. And
Have
if
a
I can't handle texting, then he can always stay in the office later with them.
He's telling them what to do from home. He's working.
He's their
from home.
boss. He's their
Yeah.
boss. I agree with that.
And they're
But
working late.
The way he responded to his wife when she got like kind of curious as to what's going on,
Yeah.
he was telling her like, yo, I can do what you want me to, if what you're
No,
thinking.
yo,
I
yo,
feel
yo,
like
yo.
that's not threatening though. That's just like him saying like
It's a
I can
soft-
either
it's a
be at
soft
home.
threat. It's a soft threat. That's the
Mhm.
thing.
I don't even say it's a thought.
Y'all thinking
It's just-
too
It is what it
deeply.
is. At work.
I mean,
no,
that's
it's-
kind of what I'm getting from her perspective of it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like he could have said that in a completely different way, not even phrased it in the same way she phrased it,
Yeah.
and it would have came off differently. But like from her perspective, it kind of sounded like a soft threat. Like, yo, I can
That's
do
from her
worse than
perspective.
this.
That's from her perspective.
But yo, put more power to it.
Yeah.
Why did you repeat that? What
Why do you
trying to
why do you
about that?
say it like her perspective is not valid?
She sounds
It's
like she's
invalid.
jealous. Clearly, she's jealous of these women, right?
Yes.
Can we all agree that
I-
she's kind of jealous?
I wouldn't
That-
say,
She even
I
said
wouldn't say
she-
she's jealous.
She doesn't. She
I-
says
I-
she doesn't like being ignored. She said that.
So he's ignoring her?
I mean, she's feeling like she's ignored.
All right, bro.
It's all
what's
about
the
her
guy's name?
feelings. In the end of the day, we're reading just what
All
she
right.
told us.
What's the guy's name?
We don't know
What's
the
her
guy's
husband's name?
That's-
Husband. Spend a little bit more time with your wife, but keep getting your bread. That's it.
But what about the texting?
Yeah.
He's giving them orders. What do you want him to do? Make them run it by themselves?
Well, I feel like a perfect solution is just show her the text. Like it's work, right? It doesn't matter.
That's true. That's a good point.
Like,
Yeah.
it's nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look,
I,
there's nothing-
I disagree with that because if I like, I think if you're out here showing the text and she like takes like the bite of it, I honestly think he does like the whole relationship. There's no trust there. If like, I'm putting myself in the perspective of the girl, if I always have to read the text of my significant other every day, does it look like I trust him?
But even if- okay, but
Because
hold on.
that's what you're
But
implying.
follow-
You're
No,
like,
I'm not saying
following-
every day. It's like
What?
it's in
that happens
in the,
every day. Like
in the
the
heat of the
Following
put-
that
in the heat of the
scenario,
question, I'll
like
give it to
wouldn't after some days go by, wouldn't you be like, all right, he's not doing anything?
Yeah, but wouldn't
come to
you
your senses,
wouldn't you
right?
pick it back up when the person's not looking at
That's
it?
insecurity.
That's more of on a you thing then.
He's
right?
working.
Which I agree with. No, from my perspective, I do think he's insecure. You know?
Yes.
I do think he's insecure, but her husband is really feeding into the insecurity of her. He's really putting fire to
Eating
it.
into it.
Yeah, he's adding fire to
How is he
Instead of
feeding
giving
into
her
it?
reassurance.
Yeah, like instead of being like reassurance, like, hey, listen, what we have is solid. You never have to worry about me. I understand I take my work outside and I'm their boss, and there are times in which I have to do this. But you know, whatever we have in between each other is solid.
You don't think he said that?
He didn't
No,
say
I
like
agree.
that. No, he didn't say it like that.
That
He-
part I agree.
How do you have a wife and you don't reassure her that there's nothing going on? Instead, what he said
Double
was,
down pretty much.
yeah, he said, yo, I can be there until 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
I
But he's talking
That
about
could be
work.
the after 8, eh?
No, but he said,
You know, I know
Instead
that
of-
code.
I can ignore you more.
Not everything.
Does that
Instead of
sound like-
saying, yo,
That's true.
we
Just
can
from what-
spend time
Yeah,
together.
that's
He's
what I'm
like, I
saying.
ignore you more.
Why are you guys interpreting it like that, though?
That's
That's
what he
how
said.
it was
That's
written.
that's how
He
it
literally said, I could be at the office at 8 p.m. working, making more money. Not doing that with these girls.
The way the
He's
relationship is right now, she feels ignored by
Yeah.
how it's being conducted. All he said is, I can stay later at the office, which means I'm not present to give you more attention.
Exactly.
That's the issue. The attention part's the issue, but in her head, he's doing dirt. But if that's in her head,
Mhm.
that doesn't mean he's actually doing dirt.
No, I
right?
agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, so let him make his money. If
No,
you-
but another thing that I disagree with is technically he's saying I could be at the office if you don't want. Really, he's bringing work home. He is in the office technically. He's working from home, not giving his wife the attention that she deserves because that's his wife, his significant other. They made a pact that let's grow and build this together. How are you not providing your wife a safe environment in which she feels comfortable?
But I would chalk that
You
up
know?
because she said she talked to her sister who's in a similar field and
Yeah.
she called her a spoiled brat.
Which no,
So that to me
there is
tells me that
insecurity there though.
that to me tells me that the industry is pretty demanding though.
Okay.
You know? Because
Yeah.
like there's two people from the industry that are telling you that this is normal
Mhm.
and you're going against it for your own feelings,
That's
right?
fair, but my only thing is he's insecure, and as a husband, you should be reassuring. You know,
I agree.
I do agree with maybe she's taking it a little too far, being like anything could be happening.
Mhm.
You know, but my thing is his role was to be like nothing's happening. You know, and he didn't fulfill that role, and because of that, she had to go to X person and be like, "Is what I'm thinking crazy?"
Right.
You know,
Right.
That's what I think.
If we reverse the table right now and we put him at home, because we're assuming right now she doesn't have a job,
Okay.
Put him at home and we put her in the office, and she comes home and she's texting somebody the whole time. He's gonna feel insecure about it too. He's gonna say, "Yo, you're not paying attention to me. I'm not getting any value out of this relationship so far.
Mhm.
What are we doing here?" If a person's at home bored the whole time, they need someone to talk to. And someone comes home and they're not conversating with them and they're texting with somebody else, you're gonna feel a way about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's an interesting dynamic too, because even if the roles were reversed, you'd be even more insecure
You
potentially.
think would you be insecure?
I mean, like if my girl is working with
Okay,
three other niggas there,
pause.
fam, and
Let me paint the
they're
scenario.
young niggas.
Let me paint the
Yo,
scenario.
you always got listen. You always got to be afraid of young niggas.
Okay,
Always.
let's say you're working from home.
Mhm.
Like you're working from home and your wife is doing 50-hour shifts in the office, right?
Investment banker type.
Right? Yeah, the same type of job that this guy has.
Right.
And you see a picture of the team and it's all like handsome
Young
dudes.
niggas.
Yeah, you know?
Handsome.
Like handsome guys. You know what I mean?
How would I make that judgment?
But it's just what I'm saying. And you know she's spending X amount of time with these dudes.
Right.
Would you feel some type of way?
That's a you problem though,
It is.
because that's her team. That's work.
But like, yo, like, you know, we can't all be friends.
No, you don't work there.
What do you mean?
You don't work there.
We gotta all be friends.
What are you gonna do?
We're all friends. Somehow, some way, I'm gonna, you know, force my way into the little lunches and the coffees.
Yo.
and,
You're gonna be like, yeah.
That's crazy.
You don't work there. You can't do that. Dude. You're not.
What
you're not
skills
entitled
do you
to that.
have? What
I'm not gonna be an
qualifications do you have?
employee there, but if anything happens outside of work, I want to be there.
Like what? But what about the texting situation? It's not like you can be on a WhatsApp chat.
The texting situation will be the texting. As long as I know these niggas IRL,
Why? You gonna meet them
I need to
personally?
know them IRL. I need to shake their hand, look in their eye, and be like,
Why?
You dirty?
Why? Why you need to know any of her girls?
I need to size them up, you know. Just need,
Nah, if
They're working.
yeah, see if they can crush.
if we're
first.
talking if we're talking with some young guys,
Yeah.
they're gonna mop you. They're looking like, yo, we can
But you gotta,
defeat
you know, you gotta look at,
easily.
you gotta look at, you know, like, can you get to the legs quick? You know, like them type. You gotta scope the scene first.
You watch UFC today. This is what you're feeling
That's
then.
what I'm saying, you know, like I got at least eye to man, you know, make sure. Like, but I don't know. To be honest with you, I would feel away. I'd be like, yo, this is a little too extracurricular.
Yeah.
Not really rocking with this. But then like the same scenario here, like depending on my partner's response,
Yeah.
I would take that as like their respect level.
Yeah,
for me,
100%.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I
if they're like,
agree.
all right, I feel what you're saying. Don't worry, I'm gonna limit it, or I'm gonna tone it down, or I'm gonna not do that at all. Then I'd be like, all right, we're cool. We're rocking with each other. But if they come and double down, like, yo, you know, I can work in the office later if you're mad at
It
me.
sounds like a threat.
Then I'm gonna be like,
That's
all
fine.
right.
It's a threat.
So yo,
What?
I'd be cheese. I'd be like, why you saying that to me? Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Why is that a problem if he's saying, yo, if you want, I could just go to the office and work more?
Because that's kind of making it worse.
That's
Yeah.
gaslighting.
That's literally
Yeah.
gaslighting.
That's your.
Broski, I think everybody's thinking too deep into this, bro.
You don't think that's
He
gaslighting?
said, okay, if you don't want me to text these girls, I'll just go and do the work at the office. I'm
With
defending
the
my
three
bro to
beautiful
end, bro.
women.
Why does she have to mention that they're beautiful? Who cares? Those
But
are co-workers.
But that's
That's in her head.
Those
That's
are
not
young
her
niggas to her.
fault.
yeah.
Those are young niggas to her.
Those are people who make her insecure. And my guy was basically like, well, if you're insecure, how about I just go over there and spend the time with them? Does that sound reassuring to
Okay,
you?
no. Maybe he came off too aggressive by saying that, but he could have just been like, listen,
How would you have said it differently?
I would have been like, look, if you don't like me texting them, would you like me to stay longer at work?
That's
That's
exactly
exactly- that's the same thing, right?
exactly what he
Does that sound as bad as yo?
That's
you don't-
gaslighting.
That's the same
It's
thing.
gaslighting. She'll be like, it's like the whole idea of her telling you that she has a problem with you texting is because like she thinks it's taking away from either you and her
Yeah.
or the dynamic of the crib, you know?
Okay,
So if you're saying to fix that problem, I'm gonna leave the crib and
do-
spend time with the people
and do
that are
what you-
already
yeah,
they're
exactly.
already worried about, then that's making it worse.
listen, his job is 24/7. Clearly, like he has to be working all night. He's working the whole day, right? If he has to work, he has to work. It is what it is.
Right.
If she wants him to make less money, just be like, yo, just stay at home, or chill at home, make your shift less, or I don't know if it's shift work or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Do less, stay at home, we'll make less money. And if he wants to do that, okay. But if she's like, yo, if she's staying at home though, let him make the money. Let him do his thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna defend him to the end.
Broski, I'm fine with him working X amount of hours. And the justification he had was valid too. My only problem was the way that he responded to her. Instead of reassuring her, he made her sound like the crazy person. Does that sound adequate to you?
Very.
You're sick.
I'm not
I
sick
don't
at
know
all.
what to
bro.
tell you. What is wrong with you?
Nah, your girl's gonna be beaking at you left and right.
I'm making this
You
bread.
gotta know how to settle her down.
All right, fine,
You know what I mean?
fine. We'll move into a 1-bedroom then. Is that better?
We're downsizing.
it's
A
downside.
lot. I'm gonna get a
All right, I'll
mechanic
make
job.
less.
He's like, I'm gonna work as a bus driver.
Is that better?
It's not about that. It's just about how do you, instead of being the point of reference and the protection for your wife, you
She's
add to the fire.
How is she not protected?
She's not protected mentally by the
She thinks-
situation.
No, okay. She thinks that something's going on.
How can you convince her nothing's going on?
Yeah.
Be like, yo, I am working. I understand I'm working with 3 women. I don't care how they look. I only see you. That's all
it?
he has to say.
That's all.
That's it. I only
Walk
see
out
you.
the room.
Just walk out.
That's
And
it.
go spend time with the 3 women, right?
No, he doesn't have to go spend time with the 3 women. But if he's texting them for work, I don't see a problem with that at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's work.
Fair enough. Okay.
If there was 3 men, she wouldn't be insecure. But it is what it is.
That's
3
what I'm
women.
saying. That's what makes the story
She said
weird.
she
You know?
wished-
They're
Wishes
good
it
at their job.
Yeah.
Okay. After guys, what do you think?
I completely agree.
what do you
It's
agree?
the
What do
nature
you
of the
agree
job.
with?
It's the nature of the job. At the end of the day, it's like he signed the contract. He has to be on call. It's part of the work. Now, because of he's working with 3 beautiful women, and she's internalizing that as, oh, he's spending less time with me and
Mhm.
more time with these women. No, I'm spending more time at work. That's it.
Exactly.
I'm just at work. That's all it is. And like what she said in the Reddit post is like that one sentence. I can put $1,000. That's not the full like conversation. He probably did reassure her. Like
You think so?
for it to
That's
be
the
a,
thing, yeah. From
like he
what we
probably
got,
did reaffirm. We just didn't hear it.
It sounds like a
Like, that's her takeaway.
From her
person's
perspective?
Yeah,
you
her
know?
takeaway was just,
Yeah.
oh, at the end of the day,
Kiss
though,
me.
at the end of the day, the only thing I can do is either choose
That's
to work in the office or just take these calls.
Yeah.
And like, you know, there's a certain point where you
He's
just have
there.
to,
He's there. He's just on his phone.
Exactly.
He's right here.
Him
He's
being-
not with them.
him being there and like texting is actually better because he's physically with her.
Okay.
They could be watching a movie. He's just texting on the side. That's still him at work spending time with his girl.
Yeah.
I'll even put the phone in the middle. I'm saying, you see this?
Okay, I like that scenario. I like that solution. I like that solution. I like that solution. Like, you look at it like that.
Oh, look at it right here. I'll be like, all right, and then get back to it. That's it.
No, but I agree with you. I agree with both you and Very Big Shelly. Like, I agree with it. It's just like my whole thing was just the way that it was portrayed. I don't like that. I honestly think as a husband, as like the dude, you have to be able to reassure somebody, you know? And to me, it didn't sound like he was doing that. That's my only take. That's my only thing. I agree with both of you. If that's his job and it's a very demanding and he has to talk to these people, I don't care if they're attractive. I don't care if they're a man. I don't care if they're a woman. At the end of the day, in order to do the job, I need to talk to these people, right? And I need to give them directions on how to do their job, you know? However, if my wife is telling me there's a problem, even if I don't necessarily agree with the problem, I still have to address it because that's my wife, you know?
Yeah.
I have to reassure her that we're good. Like what you think is happening is not happening, and feel free to invade like what I'm talking about with these people. Look at my phone. Look at this. You can even be on the call with me sometimes. You know
No,
that
that's
that didn't sound like. No, I meant like
On the call?
If she
FaceTime?
if she needs to build trust with me,
You don't
you know?
work there.
No, if she needs to build trust with me, I'm always going to throw that wire, like the rope, to be like, I'm here for this, you know?
So we're just isolating. It's just trust issues. And
yeah,
communication.
honestly.
Yeah.
That's it. Just
That's what it
communication
is.
issues and trust issues.
Yeah, because I don't think he valued the problem enough.
So it has
that she
nothing to do with the
identified.
job. It has nothing
No,
to do
the
with
job, yo, if you're working all these
Nothing.
hours and it's
Right.
demanding, bro, go do your job. You're bringing money home probably. If you're working 20 hours and you're still getting paid minimum wage, problem. You have to be getting good money. You have to be
We're
getting
assuming
good,
he is. We're
he
assuming
has to be getting good money.
Yeah.
So for him to be doing all of this, all you have to do, my brother, is to reassure her, you know? And if you do that, then you basically give her the space that everything's all right, you know?
He probably did though.
Maybe that's a possibility. And we were looking at it from one perspective, but that perspective is still valid.
Even in her own perspective, her sister said you're crazy. So
Yes, yeah.
Everybody's saying
it's
she's
way
crazy.
more towards like,
Maybe
you know,
except
he's
you.
right.
I think she's crazy.
I don't listen. I'm never gonna invalidate somebody's emotions.
No, I'm not gonna invalidate.
That's-
I'm just gonna say like in a situation you can identify which party's more at fault.
Yeah, but regardless, if that's my wife, I'm never invalidating what she says.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if it's even if
100%.
what she's feeling is not necessarily what is actually happening, I'm never gonna make her feel like her feelings are invalid.
100%.
You know what I mean? I'm still gonna reassure her because I can't like that's actually something I'm working on myself. Just because somebody around me is emotional doesn't mean that I get the opportunity to be like, what you're feeling is nothing, you know? So being able to tell somebody, yo, what you're feeling matters and I'm looking towards making this better, I think that's really important. Even though he doesn't necessarily see it from that side, he still needs to address it, you
Yeah.
know?
Words matter. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They have
even if you
power.
don't agree with it.
They have power, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go around the table. Yo, is this person who's writing the story? Are they the asshole?
Is the girl the asshole?
Yes.
No, I don't think she's the asshole.
I'm gonna say no as well.
I'm just gonna say she's insecure. That's it. She's not.
No, you have to
She's not
answer
an
the
asshole.
question.
Yeah,
She's not
she's
an
not
asshole.
an
She's
asshole.
not an asshole. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
she's
call
not
her
an asshole.
asshole.
No, right?
No, she's not an asshole.
No.
She's a
You
little bit.
changing your answer?
She's insecure.
No,
She's not an
no,
asshole.
answer the
Not an
question.
Exactly.
Answer the question.
asshole. Is she an asshole?
The question is, am I the asshole?
She's not an asshole.
There has to be some, character development. Or she has to go on an arc. That's all I'll say.
Character development.
It's a little bit arc.
I feel
a
you.
little bit.
Take my advice. Don't meet those
Mark.
bitches. Man.
A little bar arc. A
Don't
little
meet those
one.
bitches. That's all I gotta say. Am I the asshole for telling my parents I'm willing to sell them my forgiveness?
That's a businessman.
Bar right. First off, it's a bar right
We were
there.
just talking
It's
about money.
parents only in that room, but like that's a bar.
Okay. Let me hear
Okay,
it.
my parents expected me to be independent the minute I turned 18. They gave me the money they had saved up for my education and they started charging me rent. I was lucky enough to have a partial scholarship and I found a job in the city my university was in, so I moved there before the school year began. With my parents' money, my scholarship, and my wages, I was able to scrape by. I rarely ever spoke to my parents after that. I was kind of very busy. I guess they decided that they didn't want that kind of relationship with my younger siblings because they were not presented with the same option. They both lived at home throughout university and even afterwards. I'm 34 now with a decent job and a great girlfriend who I'll be marrying this summer. I sent my parents and siblings an invitation. They asked me why they were not involved with any of the wedding planning. I responded that they haven't been a part of my life really in the last 16 years and it was a nice offer of me by just inviting them. They said that they acknowledged that they made mistakes when I was young, but that it was in the past and that I should get over it, sorry.
Mm.
Against my fiance's advice, I sent them an itemized bill for everything I paid for myself that they freely gave my brother and sister. I said that if they wanted to be a part of my life, they had to ante up. They said that they cannot afford that because they are still in debt from helping out my siblings with college. And I laughed at that and said I hoped that I would see them at the wedding and hung up. My family are all getting a hold of me now to let me know how much my parents are hurting after that comment. The last thing is that I don't need their money and I don't want anything from them other than their attendance to my wedding. If they can't do that, then I'm fine with our yearly phone call. Am I the asshole?
100%.
Go talk to him.
No. What? Okay. One thing I have to make clear before I say my decision: they gave him money, right?
Yeah.
Like after when he turned 18.
Yeah.
Like a good chunk, right?
We don't know that.
They're saving. They said they.
It's for education.
Well, he said
because-
No,
No,
he
it's
said he got a
thousands of
partial
dollars.
scholarship as well.
No,
Yeah.
but they gave him.
Yeah, they gave him money. Yeah.
He said they
gave him
gave
a lot
me
of money,
yeah.
but we don't know how much.
Bro,
it was.
Cage,
said-
they're not gonna give him $100.
They said they gave him enough money for school, right?
They
Yeah.
said they
Alright.
gave me the money they had saved up for my education,
Yeah. for
and they started charging me rent.
Yeah.
So like his school's
They
free.
started charging-
All he had to pay for was
I
rent.
guess he
Yeah,
moved
they were,
out
he was
They're-
living there.
originally, and then he said I was lucky enough to get a partial scholarship.
Yeah,
I
he
found
moved
a
out
job
after.
in the city that my university was in, so I moved there before the school year began.
Yeah.
And then 16 years.
And he got a job, and he got a scholarship,
Yeah.
and he got their money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from that, we understand that their money was necessary for him to be independent, right? So to be frank, bro, I want to start off by saying parents are human beings.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Like they are. I know up until a certain age, we believe that our parents are superheroes and they can do no wrong. But parents are humans that make mistakes. So this was the firstborn, and clearly it was a trial to see how parenting would go. Because they did what they thought was right at the time, and you can clearly see they've corrected themselves with child number 2, child number 3. So clearly they are getting better as parents. And in my opinion, I honestly think that he's taking it out on them too much. Yes, they messed up, but they held each other accountable, apologized, and said, I want to be back into your life. And if anything, I want to be a part of this wedding thing, So for him to just be like, instead, turn the cheek and say, I need you to pay back, blah, blah, blah. Why would you do that to your parents who put you in the position that you're currently in, even though you may not see it like that? Like they're the reason that you had the income to do what you're currently doing now. Probably found the person who you found through whatever methods you did, but they are the reason. They were the support system they had up until a certain age, And for you to kind of gloss over that and only look at the negatives of what they did to you, I think that's very immature.
I agree. I'm not gonna lie. Like he kind of also he said it all in this one sentence right here. He said, "With my parents' money, my scholarship, and my wages, I was able to scrape by.
Mhm.
I rarely ever spoke with my parents. I was kind of busy." So it's like, why? Why
Oh,
did you?
so it was his fault. The 16 years just went by.
Pretty much, yeah. He decided at some point, I'm not gonna maintain this relationship with them because they gave me everything I need, and I'm out on my own.
Yeah.
So he was like, all right, now we're severing ties, pretty much.
Okay, okay.
You know?
I take it as they got it adjusted to a relationship. He got busy, but this is how it's been. I'm on my own right now. I got to make it happen. In those years, first couple of years, who knows? Some parents go up and try to visit the college or the university and try to make that time. It sounded like he was on his own the whole time. They had their a few conversations when they could, and they moved on like that. The only issue I have with him is him popping fly at his parents, him talking a certain way,
Mhm.
because we never condone.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how your relationship is. We never condone a certain manner of respect. That's all that's expected. But him sending the receipt, the rest of it, of him saying, "Hey, we should have, hey, we should have been more involved in this, and we should." That if we have a certain relationship to this point, that's how it is. You can't expect otherwise and something grandiose to change if he's got adjusted to him being him and him being alone.
Mm.
That's what I think, though.
Okay.
Fair enough.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, like you said, the only issue for me is just the way he was talking to his parents and the sending them the receipt of whatever he paid for.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I understand the 16 years went by. They didn't talk. The relationship isn't as strong as it used to be. I don't even think it was that strong in the beginning.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I don't think he's an asshole. I don't think he's an asshole,
Bro,
except for
no.
that one little tiny.
I wholeheartedly disagree with you.
How?
Because I just see it so interesting that he feels comfortable talking like this to his parents
Just that part.
in a position where
That's the part we
in a position where he doesn't need them anymore. Where was this energy at the beginning when he was feeding off of them? Like, you know, like I gave you the money you needed to go to school, to be living by yourself, to be independent. And now that the fruit of my labor is out there and you're, of course, you succeeded and you're accomplished, and I'm happy as a parent to see that. Now that you don't need me anymore, it's kind of like F you. That's what it sounds like to me.
But I mean, but if he didn't, let's say he didn't get the job to move to where his school was, right? They'd still be charging him rent. They'd be charging him whatever amount a month, right?
Yeah.
So they're basically just getting that money back.
That's,
If he
that's
didn't go
fair,
to
but
school.
like to the point that I made, they acknowledged that they messed up with him. You know,
Yeah.
they said, "Yo, my fault." Like we're like to my point earlier, they're human.
So is he.
He, as a human, should see that they were humans and build their relationship again.
But
He's taking a stance at the grown age that he is, at the opportunity to get closer to his parents. Instead, he wants to play like devil's advocate and be like, "How about you pay me instead?" Does that sound like an adult to you?
I don't think he actually was expecting them to pay him. I think he was just doing that to say like, "Fuck you guys
Yeah,
for
he
all
said at
the
the end he's
years," you
not
know, like.
expecting, right? He even said
Yeah,
that.
I think he said it at the
He
end
said
too.
that, yeah. He said it's not about the money.
But if at the end of the day, no matter if he said it, if he meant it or if he didn't mean it, it hurt his parents.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about the intention. It matters about what happened after the fact.
But do you think his feelings are valid too? Because and from this perspective, from the way he's writing the story,
Yeah.
it seems like he feels abandoned from his parents.
Yep.
The
No,
last
true,
16 years.
true.
And they already admitted that they did
messed
wrong
up,
in
yeah.
the relationship, you know?
Mhm.
So like if there was 16 years of
Mhm.
like bad like the relationship was sour, like
Okay.
he could have been harboring all this resentment, you know? And then
That's
on his
okay.
biggest day, like the wedding day, of course, most people probably is significant other saying, aren't you going to invite your parents? So just as a token of respect, thinking, okay, I'm going to invite them,
Mhm.
but still harboring the resentment for them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm.
So like, are his feelings? The question after you: are his feelings valid in this?
100% they're valid. I'm not denying how he felt. Even if he felt abandoned by his parents,
Mhm.
I get it. But if your parents come to you and be like, "Yo, we acknowledge that we messed up, you know, and we want to be a part of your life moving forward," to the degree that they wanted to be a part of his probably the most important moment of his life, you know,
True.
and for him to fight fire with fire and be like, pay me,
I agree.
Does that sound logical?
No, I don't think that,
Like,
I don't
you
think
know?
that the idea of payment was what he was trying to go for there. I think it was more so just to acknowledge the fact that he's still harboring resentment to them.
That's
You know what I
fair,
mean?
but as an adult, because we have to look at it differently. He's not the 18-year-old kid that
Right.
back in right now he should be 34, right?
He's 34. He said.
So if you're 34 and you still have this perspective and you still hate your parents, have you not done the work in order to see what's happened, like why they acted like that, what like
He
that they're
probably
human?
didn't. Then that's why.
That's
he
the
feels
thing.
like
I don't
that.
think. I don't
I
think.
think he should have.
I don't think that this person is seeing that perspective because he truly and honestly has moved on with his life. You know what I mean?
It doesn't sound like he moved on to the point where he's actually backbiting what they did in the past.
No,
That
this
is-
is the only time I think it looks like he's facing it right now.
Well, they never really linked up in 16 years. The only
Yeah.
time they linked up now is because of his wedding, right?
And the
They
only
said that
memory
one-
he has is them saying, "Okay, here's the money."
He pretty much was kicked out at 18
Yeah.
and said, "Go live in the world."
He
you know?
wasn't kicked out. He was just told to pay rent. That's not equivalent to being
At
kicked
18.
out.
I mean, like he moved out.
No, but it's not like he couldn't afford it. He had a job. that he could have
got a job
and then moved.
No, but he could have got a job here. Yes or no? It's not like
Yeah, of course.
and I'm sure they weren't making him pay something drastic. I don't know,
sure.
but it's probably an amount that still was able to be like, yo, you can afford this. You can pay
I
for
mean,
this.
that's
You
an
know,
assumption, though. You know, what I mean? Like,
fair enough. I'm just saying
judging
that,
from the
but
story, it sounds
them-
like that they pushed him out of the door to go and live on his
I don't
own
see
as
it
an
as
adult.
looking at pushing out of the door. It just looks like I personally don't agree with parents telling kids to pay rent personally. But also if I look at it from another perspective, I do see how it can build a sense of responsibility.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Do I agree with their decision to do that? Absolutely not.
Mhm.
But for him to kind of take that and be like, they never loved me in the first place when they are the reason that you can afford your current lifestyle, I find that very hard to believe.
But I don't know. I agree with what you're saying in the grand scheme of things, yes. But directly just judging from the perspective of how it was written, it seems like A, there is more to the story of the relationship going bad. And B, it seems like this person is not over the fact that his parents did that to them, right? So with those two things being acknowledged, of course, the approach that he took to like tell them, yo, you got to pay me back for all this stuff is stupid and dumb. I wouldn't have done that, right? But at the same time, too, like I can understand him having built up all this hate and then instead of doing something completely like out of character and like, you know, damaging or like even fuck it up even more, he kind of did something petty that backfired on him in a sense, you know?
Mhm.
So in that sense, I understand his emotions and his feelings, but I just wouldn't do it myself is the thing. You know what I mean? Like the approach that he took is wrong. I wouldn't have, if truly and honestly, if he had a problem with his parents, he should never have just invited them. You know, just keep the distance the way it is. You know, just,
No, he definitely had to
Someone
fix
would've
that.
found out.
He definitely had to.
I mean,
fix
if
that.
he's hating on them like that to the point where like, you know, like when they try and reach out to him, he shoots back at them, then just leave it as is. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, after that
might be
interaction,
better
I
off.
understand. After the interaction, but like before that interaction, you guys need to understand that this guy, he didn't. Let's assume he didn't really interact with them for 16 years.
They had
All that-
they had an annual call.
yearly call, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what was that like? Like, you know, like it probably
10 minutes a
wasn't-
year, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
it's a year. Like he has all this built up anger, all this built up resentment for them. We have to acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
what I'm saying, yeah.
if he feels a certain way, he feels a certain way. They didn't get to fix it within 16 years.
Mhm.
So his memory of his parents is the same parents that they were when he was 18, when he had to move out.
That sounds childish though.
It is childish, but some people can't process their
Like
emotions.
if you take a step back and see that they fixed their issues with child number 2 and child number 3,
they didn't, okay.
can't you be like, yo,
But how does that affect his life?
no, but you can clearly see that the parents saw what went wrong with child number 1.
But how does that affect his life?
But to take a step back and be like, I see that my parents are now changed for them, for betterment, you know? And to the
That's
point that I'm trying to
that
make,
is a great perspective
know?
to take. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, but just being in the position of somebody who's harboring resentment already, the mindset he has is that they did so much for them and did nothing for me. Not that they got it, they messed up with me and they got it right with them. He's thinking they pretty much saved all their good parenting just for these 2 kids and said fuck me. You know? That's
how
kind
he
of like
feels. That might
it's
not
obviously
with that.
flawed. It's obviously a
that's
flawed
such a
way
dumb
of
way to
thinking.
think.
I agree, but at the same time too, that's a damaged person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they need to get help, exterior help
Yeah.
from somewhere else and deal with that on the side before they can have this relationship with their parents. Or else it's gonna be the chitter chatter back and forth and shit that's leading to nowhere, right?
I agree.
So in that sense, that's why I was saying maybe it was a better choice to not even invite them. You know?
Let's get fantasy involved in the conversation.
I'm about to say let's get Elmi involved, but
Yeah,
like, all right. No, but I would just say the core issue is just that they have to sit down and just talk about it. The issue is just like what you guys are saying, that all the love wasn't given to him. It was just that he was like the first child. They obviously made issues, but that was his reality. He lived in that. And like 16 years of them not communicating with that, that's just his relationship. For you to like expect his time to heal to be within a few months of his wedding or even a year, whatever it is, because that's fiance, it's gonna happen soon. It's like it's kind of like you have to give him time, even if it's past,
Unrealistic, yeah.
even if it's past the wedding. You have to be as the older parents. You have to be like, all right, it doesn't even have to be at the wedding. We just want to repair the relationship.
Mhm.
And it's like if for example, if I was the parents and my son said that to me, I'll be like, first off, if I'm broke, like they said they don't have enough money to pay him back, right? I'll be like, okay, I don't have the money to pay you back, but just know that I'm gonna still try to like communicate with you, try to keep you in contact. Even if I had the money, I'll fly out just to even go to his house, just like talk to him.
So you wouldn't take it as disrespect if your son sent you an itemized bill of things that he spent.
I would completely understand it.
Yeah, you have to acknowledge that.
I would
he's hurt.
completely understand it. I'll be like, that's my fuck up. That's my mistake.
As a parent.
Yeah, and I have to give him time to heal. I can't control another person. I can just be putting myself in a position to make sure that I'm available now for him.
Let me ask you guys this question:
Well said.
who's responsible to fix this? The parent or the grown child?
It's the grown child.
It's the grown child.
Why?
Because it's his feelings that are like
That's the thing.
he's a damaged person, right?
Yeah.
He has to go and like he has to accept, okay, this is my situation. I can't just be focusing on the past and feeling this way. I have to look at the future and be like, all right, what kind of relationship do I want to have with my parents?
Bars.
He just didn't get over it. I see what you're saying. He didn't get over
He
it.
just didn't get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's his thing.
The parents had to face what they did to him, the way they treated the younger ones.
Mhm.
I
Exactly.
think he's the one who's still harboring that and trying to realize that he still needs a family.
Facts.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't think he's realized he needs a family as of yet. He just wants them to come post up for pictures and cut.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause especially calling your biggest day,
Mm-hmm.
it might even sour the taste more.
Yeah, it didn't even sound like he wanted to fix it either, because he said his wife told him to invite
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
parents to the
true.
wedding,
Yeah,
right?
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
and
So-
not send the receipt.
If she didn't say that, he probably wouldn't have even invited her, and
Right.
there probably
Yeah.
wouldn't even be a relationship.
Right.
So hopefully he could fix that.
Hopefully, yeah.
I think, yeah, honestly, it's on both sides, to be honest with you, Because like you were saying right now, like, if from the parent's perspective, the kid sending them the itemized receipt is a gesture of how their relationship is, or just like a metaphor of how their relationship has been. So in the sense of the parent taking some accountability, they shouldn't be as upset receiving that, because they should understand why they're getting that type of
Yeah.
interaction with their kid in the first place, right?
Yeah.
But on the other side, obviously, like, you know better, you shouldn't do that. Just the idea is to maintain the peace. When you're in the guy's position, the person who's writing the story,
Yeah.
you're having your wedding. It's going to be a good day, a big day for you and your immediate family. So keep the peace, maintain the peace. Don't add fuel to the fire, right? That's kind of where I feel like he fucked up. But at the same time, too, like, from the parent's perspective, to get upset at that is like, you're not really acknowledging your faults with the child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's where I'll leave it at.
It just wasn't timed nicely,
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to just call him randomly, not like on his wedding day, the biggest day, where he's stressing out like crazy.
Yep.
You have to give him time to heal.
So let's go around the table. Do you guys think this person is the asshole?
No, he's not. He's not. He's an asshole for the action that he did for the
Yeah.
bill, and
That's what
for-
he's asking, though. Yeah.
just for that part. Yeah, he's an asshole for that.
Okay.
Like, you shouldn't be doing that.
I agree. He is the asshole.
Asshole.
He's the asshole.
Also,
All right. Tell us what you think. We need to know in the comments. Let us know. Like, share, subscribe. This is CBPXAFK. Wow.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for my in-laws' dinner?
Interesting.
Let's get to it, guys. My 37 female husband, 40 male, and I are amateur foodies. We don't know anything about anything, but really enjoy good food and going to new places. We have a lifestyle that allows us to eat whenever we like and live in an area with lots of good food and unique restaurants. We also like to share our favorites, and so recently we've begun inviting either my parents or his parents out for dinner. We take them out maybe once every 3 to 4 months, not including celebrations. And because we invite, we always pay. This isn't the only time we see our parents, though. A few months ago, my in-laws invited us out to a restaurant that they like near their house. We had never been, and even though it wasn't a place we normally would have chosen, we figured it was a way of joining the fun for them and showing us something new, like we had shown them. After dinner, my mother-in-law slid the bill over to my husband without looking at it. He looked surprised, but dinner wasn't really that expensive, so we paid it without saying anything. A few weeks later, my in-laws invited us out again to a moderately expensive place we had taken them once before and did the same thing. Recently, while on a call with his mom, my husband mentioned that I had gotten an award at work. His mother immediately suggested we all go out to a very fancy restaurant nearby to celebrate. I quietly asked if we had to go and pay for it, and my husband started glaring daggers at me. I guess he started looking at her weird.
Yeah.
I told him I didn't think we should have to pay for it this time because his parents invited us to go to dinner. And they were using my award, which isn't really a big deal at all, to get a fancy night out for free. He said we could afford it and they couldn't. This is true. And that I was being an asshole for refusing to pay for them. Later, he had spoken to his dad and he told me that I had embarrassed his parents and made them feel like moochers. They want an apology, and to make up for it, he said we should just take them out to the fancy restaurant they want. No pretense of celebrating my award this time. Am I the asshole?
Which camera's on me? This one?
Yeah,
Tell
those
him.
three.
If you invite somebody out, pay for it.
His Dukes?
It doesn't matter.
Whoa.
They invited broski, listen.
Yeah.
I invite my Dukes to all these restaurants. I'm a foodie, right? I'm saying, yo, I'm paying for this. They're randomly saying, hey, come to this restaurant. We liked it. Okay, you're inviting me out, right? Just pay for it one time. You know, I do this for you all the time. Just one time, pay for it. And plus, especially the expensive restaurant. You're gonna bring me to an expensive restaurant. This was not my idea. You're gonna make me pay for all of this? What if I don't have it like that, you know?
But
they do. They clearly said
The
it.
parents don't have enough,
The
and they
parents
do
don't
have enough.
it.
So don't invite me to no super expensive restaurant. Like what you don't know what I'm doing with my money, right?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't get to dictate what I'm doing with my money. I understand that it's his parents and you want him to you want to spend time with your parents. You can't do something a little cheaper? You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know what you're saying.
Bro,
I don't know. I'll tell you right now.
you're inviting me out.
Okay.
Why do you want me to pay for your stuff? You're inviting me out.
Because
That's a good rule to have.
Normally,
I understand that.
normally he pays all the time though.
Yeah, because he's inviting them out.
Right. When he invites them out, he pays.
Yeah, that's how it should be. When I'm inviting you somewhere,
And the last time they went out, they invited them out, and he still paid.
that's the issue. They invited him out, right?
Yeah.
And he paid for it.
Yeah.
That's my issue. Because they invited him out. My rule is if you're planning this date, whatever you want to call it, you pay for it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it.
I disagree.
Fair point.
What? Just
Wholeheartedly.
because it's his parents?
Just because your parents. This is 99% of the time.
You can't treat your kids?
99.9999% of the time, I agree with you. You know, if somebody invites me out, you know, chances are I'm always going to offer to pay for my own meal. But I see that they have a responsibility because, you know, they asked me to come out. So I would see it fit to be like, if they did pay, probably, you know, it is what it is. But fam, my mom and dad, fam, they don't even have to question it. Anytime. If we go to coffee, if we go to a restaurant, if we go to a fine dining restaurant,
That's not
I'm
a question.
always
here.
going
They
to.
can't treat you, though?
The problem.
Facts.
The problem here is not that though. It's more so that the wife is
Mhm.
seeing them using her award as an excuse to get them a free fancy dinner.
I don't really see it like that though.
How?
I see
They
it.
can't afford this place without them. They wouldn't
Okay.
be going if this girl didn't get an award and they didn't bring it up.
Okay.
Not to mention the last place they went. They started to go to a cheap restaurant
Mhm.
that they invited them to, then a moderately expensive restaurant that they invited them to,
Okay.
and now it's a very expensive restaurant. So
What's
it's like
bad about that though?
there's a pattern here.
But what's bad about that? What is bad
Treat the
about
kids
They
treating
want to
parents?
acknowledge it would be more honest of them to be like, we want you to take us out to this fancy restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a problem with the way they went about it.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
trying to sneak their way into a fancy dinner for free, and that's not right. No matter who they are.
You know, I still
being
don't agree with you
Why not?
because at the end of the day, there's no justification as to why I wouldn't ever want to treat my
That's
parents.
not in question.
Even if they came out with things like that, hey, we want to celebrate, because I highly doubt it they meant like that. Maybe they could have been like, we wanted to try the spot and this is a good opportunity because we have something to, you know, celebrate. Why don't we go
can't
here?
They celebrate you by saying, hey, we're going to take you out and we're going to give you this meal.
But they said they can't
That's
afford it though. The parents can't afford
Okay,
it.
so then why are we going to this restaurant?
But if my parents said, like, if they were like, yo, we want to celebrate, why don't we go here? I wouldn't ever think about it like, yo, they're trying to get one over me. I would just
It's
be
not
like,
okay.
I think that's how you
that's
guys
one
feel, no?
instance.
No,
That's one instance. But this is a pattern thing. This is something that's not just happened once.
But I don't care if it's a pattern. That's my thing.
But
I
wouldn't
think
you be
when it
more-
comes to my parents, I don't see it as they're trying to take advantage of me.
I think that's where the disconnect
What
is.
would you rather them do? Be honest with you and tell you that they want you to pay for the meal,
Yeah.
or finagle their way into
But
it?
I think you're construing it. I honestly don't think of it like that. I honestly think a lot of two things can be true. I honestly do think, one, they can't afford it. B, they probably had their eyes on it.
Mhm.
And C, this is a good opportunity for everybody to celebrate something that's
Over
happening.
here, yeah.
You know?
Right.
I don't necessarily see it as I'm trying to smooch my way into something I can't afford and, my way of using your achievement to my advantage.
But
I
the
don't see it
common
like that.
denominator is that they can't afford it without them.
So,
So then doesn't that have any gravity to the situation?
not at all.
Why not?
Because I don't ever see it as,
And why wouldn't they pick somewhere not as expensive?
at the end of the day, I'm still going to pay. Why does it matter if I go to somewhere that's cheap or somewhere that's expensive?
It's the wife that has the problem, not the son. The
No,
son
but-
is fine paying.
but
the wife is
do
saying
you get-
this is becoming a pattern.
So if I went to a common, let's say I went to Denny's instead and
Yeah.
I paid for that.
Yeah.
Would you have less of a problem?
I still have the same problem because they are trying to celebrate you, right?
Okay.
So they need to take you out. They
But
need to
we clearly came to the conclusion that they can't afford it. So,
Okay,
what,
then why would
so
they
they
invite you
can't
out?
be part
Yeah.
of a celebratory thing without having to.
cook something at home. You don't have to go to.
it's like we're gonna have your birthday party, and you're gonna buy all the presents for yourself.
Exactly.
No,
every
that's not it.
Can I?
It's
Can
not
I
like that.
ask a question?
Go
What
ahead.
did you? I know she brought up her parents. What did they say about her parents?
Oh, that's a good point.
Did they say that they were paying or the parents were paying for it?
It doesn't say much about her parents. It says we also like to share our favorites, and so recently we've begun either inviting my parents or his parents out with us. We maybe take them out once every 3 to 4 months, not including celebrations, because we invite, we always pay. This isn't the only time we see our parents. That's the only thing she mentioned about her own parents.
Okay,
I
so
don't think that problem is happening on her side of the family.
Because they're not inviting them.
Well,
Or it
they are
doesn't seem-
inviting them, but they don't have a problem with them paying or anything like that. It seems. It
But
says
what is the
because we invite-
frequency like with his parents?
Well,
It was like the
it
same.
says right here that the frequency has increased with his parents, right? So it says a few months ago, my in-laws invited us out to a restaurant that they like near their house.
Okay.
We hadn't ever been, and we thought it wasn't a place that we normally would have chosen. We figured it was their way of joining the fun and showing us something new, like we had shown them. After dinner, my mother-in-law slid over the bill to my husband without him even looking at it. He looked surprised, but dinner wasn't expensive, so we paid without saying anything. A few weeks later, my in-laws invited us out again to a moderately expensive place we had taken them out once before and did the same thing. And then after
Okay.
that, that's when the fancy dinner came up, and they said she'd recently got an award.
Mhm.
It says recently, while on a call with his mom, my husband mentioned that I had gotten an award at work. His mother immediately suggested we all go out to a very fancy restaurant nearby to celebrate. I quietly asked if we were going to have to pay for it, and my husband started glaring daggers at me.
Mhm.
He ended the call quickly and called me rude. I told him I didn't think we should have to pay this time. His parents wanted to go out for dinner, and that they were using my award bracket, which really wasn't a big deal at all, to get a fancy night out. He
So-
said we couldn't afford it, and he said we could afford it, and that they couldn't. This is true, and that I was an asshole for refusing to pay for them.
Okay. So I think it's just two different cultures of families.
Possibly,
Where-
yeah.
They feel like, hey, this is my son. My son's money is my money. So there's no issue with my son covering this as he can afford it. The other family is probably a more well-to-do family that everyone has the same means to pay for it. So I think that's where the culture clash is. The son doesn't have a problem with it. Says, yeah, I have money. My parents don't have money. We come from struggle.
Mhm.
I can cover this.
Right.
Where she sees it as, hey, this is our money that we're wasting on too much expensive meals. This is getting out of hand. And I think it's just the culture clash. The only thing she needs to do, in my opinion, is start setting precedents of, hey, let's start mixing it up, of going to less expensive restaurants and try, hey, let's try this. Don't phrase it as, hey, this is less expensive. Phrase it as, hey, let's try different cultures. Or, hey, let's try a taco night at home, like you were saying.
Yeah, we
Or-
can cook at home.
Yeah,
You know,
something else that's outside the norm, that still a celebration, still us family together, it's still we could be all foodies together and things like that. Just not having to shell out a bunch of hundreds of dollars on one meal.
Fair
Agreed.
point. Fair point. We could
Agreed.
downsize the occasion.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
If my son wins an award and I want to celebrate my son, I
Mhm.
can't afford to go to an expensive restaurant. Okay, I'm gonna cook him a nice meal at home. That's something that I can afford. I'm assuming they could afford to do that, right? Let's assume they could do that. Let's
Yeah.
do that then. There's nothing wrong with that.
But the
It's-
only difference I would say there is they're probably experiencing stuff they haven't been able to experience themselves.
So they could just say that then. Say, okay, we want to go to this expensive restaurant. We can't afford to go there. If they're just straight up like that, then okay. You know, they want to go to this restaurant.
That's what I feel like the wife is looking for. She's looking for honesty from the parents. Like,
Yeah.
we can't afford to go here. We really do want to go here, but we want to go with you guys, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of like, let's invite you. And then with that invitation, there's this open air discussion of, are they willing to pay for this? Or, you know, like, even though they can't, why are they inviting us? From a third person perspective, obviously the son doesn't care because it's his parents.
Yeah.
But from the wife's perspective, she's like, a lot of stuff is going on, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Even though it might not be nothing, it's still like the patterns are there type thing, you know?
100%.
I'd only say certain cultures, parents don't humble themselves to their kids like that, where they would communicate that.
Right.
They would just say, "Hey, let's do it," instead of, "Hey,
And
we
that's
can't
the gesture,
afford
right?
this."
And that's the gesture, is just
Yeah.
being around them, not really regarding who's paying, just being amongst the celebration is
Mhm.
kind of like what you're saying, right? The difference in cultures and
Yeah.
communication differences, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So they wouldn't humble themselves. It seems like this type of family.
Mhm.
For him, he just understands what the vibe is, and she doesn't get what the vibe is as of yet.
So what is she expecting is the question here. What should she expect?
I personally think that she should. I know what she's expecting. She's expecting that the parents are like, okay, hey, we want to go to this restaurant. Can we go as a family? Can you pay for it? It's just them kind of hiding it behind, oh, we want to celebrate your achievement. That's my issue. That's my only issue that I have. You know what I'm saying?
That's the part that's probably curious to the girl, because she's probably thinking to herself, because she even wrote, it's not that big of an award,
Yeah.
right? So we don't have to do all this. So why do we have to do all this? The alternative motive in her mind is that they just want a free meal out of us, but that's probably not the case. They probably just
probably
want to
isn't.
celebrate, you know?
It probably isn't the case, but they want to celebrate him. Let's celebrate him. Let's go to our house. Let's cook a big family meal, sit at a table and eat. You know, that it's that simple. You don't have to go. If you want to go to this expensive restaurant, just say, let's go to this expensive restaurant. Can we go as a family to this expensive restaurant? Not, I want to celebrate you, so let's go. It's the wording, you know?
It's a
It's the word.
deception, yeah.
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 I don't know. I don't agree with that at all.
I don't either, to be honest. But at the same time, too, like Mukhtar's saying, there's a difference in cultures, you know? So it's
Yeah.
like some parents won't even fathom the idea of trying to communicate that, because it's just the norm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's on the husband and the wife to have a conversation about, like, or at least the husband to tell the wife, yo, these are my parents. If they want to do something, I have no problem with doing it for them. You know, it's coming out of my pocket. You know, just give her reassurance that this is not like they're not mooching off me. They're my parents. I love them. They love me. You know, and if they want to celebrate you, then you should be happy more about that than the price of the actual dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, in that sense, if you want to go around and start naming if they're the asshole or not, I personally say yeah, this
Mhm.
person's the asshole, because you shouldn't have gotten in the way of that.
I'd say no, because I believe it's just more of trying to understand. I don't know how long they're married.
Right.
I think they just need to understand more of each other, where each other comes from.
Mm.
The only issue I have with him is he went back to tell the parents, "Hey,
That's a good point. I
Yeah.
forgot about that. Yeah, like, why you got to go and tell the parents that your wife is tweaking on her name or on their name? Like, what
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fuck? That's just making worse
That's a
things
good
worse.
point.
Yeah. That
because
you
you
should
should
never
be
do that.
putting your wife in the best light with your
Yeah.
family."
Yeah, you
you know?
should never do that.
Mhm.
Never do that.
Like,
How
you're
about you?
showing,
What do you think?
I don't think they're an asshole. I just think the parents. We're talking about the parents, right?
No,
no,
the
this is
girl.
the person, the
girl?
wife. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't. She's not an asshole. She's just. I understand she's trying to look out for her husband. I don't think she's an asshole, but she definitely shouldn't get in between that. I understand that part, but
Mhm.
what the parents are doing, they need to word it better. But I don't know the culture. You're right about the culture thing.
Right.
Like, I don't know the culture. If they're
Right.
just regular Western culture, then they need to word that better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think he's the asshole. But I do think the man was in the wrong. for only taking like inside drama and bringing it home. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's bizarre. You're a team. You should always be a collective. You should never let stuff bleed inside of it.
Right.
And now the parents are never gonna like her. You know,
Yeah,
it's gonna be hard to grow that back. You know what I mean?
How
They don't want to take me out to food.
Celebration's ruined now,
Like now they're gonna look at her like this. They're gonna be like, yo, okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
why would he do that?
Like, why would he ruin
Why would he
their
actually do that?
relationship?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Even if he's upset with her, like that's not something to do.
Facts.
Yeah, that's dumb. I would say I would take a different approach. I'd say she is the asshole because like, you know, like she should have voiced that in a different way without making her like her husband's parents seem like villains.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, they just need to have a conversation like, yo, fix up.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, same thing. I don't think she's an asshole. I think that she just grew up with some certain fairness, you know, unspoken rules about like her husband paying for his parents, regardless of like how they like ask is like that's the issue.
Right.
Like they should be asking in a certain manner of like, oh, we want to try this restaurant. Could you guys join us? And that they have to understand that like the parents have to communicate, oh, we're not gonna pay for this.
Mhm.
Like it has to be said.
Right.
Whatever respectful way, but it has to be said before they get there. It can't just be sliding bills while they're
Yeah. What if I forgot my wallet?
exactly.
What if I don't have none? I don't have the Apple Pay.
And he just starts stressing.
And they just, who's gonna pay for this?
Yeah.
At least let me know. If you let me know beforehand, okay.
It's kind of underhanded. That's what
Low-key,
she's
though,
that's what she's focusing
on
on.
the
I think.
third dinner, you should know it's coming. Let's
Yeah.
be real. Let's be real.
No, but
man.
it's for him. For him, it's okay.
He knows.
It's like no, for him, like all of us, we can agree.
Yeah.
It's like if
Yeah.
it happened to us, we don't care.
Yeah, I don't
But
care.
if
it's
it,
my
if,
parents,
but I understand where she's coming from. I
I
understand.
get that too.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, I don't, you know, I don't get where she's coming from.
You don't get where she's coming.
There is not a
Switching
time.
stance?
No. I just think she's not the asshole because of her not understanding.
Mhm.
But there is not a time that I go out with my parents. Ever since I got my first job,
Yeah.
Facts,
know?
facts.
first job, I was working Access Research, fam.
No,
Telemarketing.
but that's specific to you.
No,
You
but
grew up
I'm-
with struggles
I get
and
it.
everything.
But what I'm saying is, there is not a time that if my parents are sitting at the dinner table with me, that I push the check over to them.
How can you?
Of course, yeah.
That's like it's
100%.
common sense
Doesn't even
that
strike
one
your
of us
mind,
is
right?
paying.
100%.
Me, another Jama, or another Jama. One of us is paying.
Not
You
the
feel
OGs,
me?
not
Not the OG Jama. You know what I mean? So it's inconceivable to me that she has a problem with it. You know,
It's not for me. It's not the actual
Not the
payment.
paying,
It's,
yeah.
not-
deception.
it's
It's a deception. Yeah.
let's go to this restaurant to
to
celebrate.
celebrate you.
That's
Yeah.
my issue.
No, maybe they are authentic in that, but
That
they,
could
they
be
just
the
could be,
case,
yeah, that could be
But I'm
completely
saying,
kind of
true.
order.
but
But you
can
have
also
to
see what,
validate her
Yeah.
you can
feelings as
also
well.
see how
No, to
somebody
the
would take
point,
that
yeah.
negatively, right?
I get that, yeah.
Right.
But I just mean like that's her opportunity to instead of trying to point a perspective to go talk to man like, yo, is this a thing in your culture? Is this a
Mhm.
thing that's happening?
So we got to pay
Like,
for
why
every
do you-
date or what?
Instead they're out, the image that she painted is like they're smooching often.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Oh,
My
she's
my
from a
parents
different
can
culture,
smooch off me whatever they want. Like whatever, my money is their money, fam.
mm.
You know what I mean? The idea that they're leeching off of me, I don't like that. You know? What are you about to say?
No, she just it's like, have you ever been around some people? Sometimes we talk aggressively in our communities, and there's someone else that's not from our communities that comes and thinks we're all arguing, we're all angry, but we have enthusiasm how we speak. It's the same thing. It's the understanding thing that I would say that he needs to communicate.
Mhm.
I don't think she's just outside the norm.
No, she's
Outside
the
your
one
understanding.
questioning it. So it's her opportunity to go educate herself as to why this is like that.
But I think she's looking
For him,
at
it's
it from
normal.
her eyes and her family's eyes.
Yeah.
I don't think there's nothing to question.
But she's the one who has the problem. Wouldn't you think that she needs to go and find information as to what's happening?
No, I
She
think
needs to
But it's
just
not even a
first
cultural
guy-
thing.
the guy
It's not even a
doesn't even see it as a
cultural thing.
problem.
It's not even
He
a
called her
cultural thing.
rude.
Huh?
He called her rude.
No, but I meant like he never thought of this issue as a problem
Yeah, when
prior
she
to
made-
her bringing it
Yeah,
up.
but she made it the
So that's
problem.
why.
He was thinking, yo, why are you even saying this? You know,
No,
what's wrong
but
with you?
Fair. That's after the fact when it was brought up.
Right.
What I'm saying is before she even introduced the fact that she's uncomfortable with this.
Yeah.
To him, it was completely normal.
Yeah, he was paying.
So the point I'm making is it's on her to understand why that's a normal.
Right.
So Mukhtar was trying to say it's on him to teach her blah blah blah. But that's
Well,
only after
that's
It's
what-
on both.
That's
It's
why
a
I said,
teamwork.
it's only after she takes the initiative to say like what's going on.
But that's
Yeah,
the thing,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
two
yeah.
different like cultures coming together, and you need as a couple, you need to understand both of your backgrounds before you can make decisions like this or make
Yeah.
understandings like this. Like he's saying, if it's just a custom in his family that's happening, then he needs to tell her, this is just a custom in my family. This is happening.
Yeah, she obviously.
And
did
at the
not
same
know that.
time, too, if it's a custom in her family, to be fair all around with any age gap and whatnot, any like status in their family, then she needs to explain that to him. Like, yo, where I'm from, this ain't like that.
No, I'm not saying he doesn't need to explain it to her, but he needs to take the initiative to tell him to explain
Right.
it to me.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
know?
I agree with what you're
Like he
saying.
doesn't see it as a problem. He doesn't even know that she's thinking this
Mhm.
way. You know?
But he needs
That's
to
what
also understand that she does see it as a problem. And
Well,
that's a
now,
problem. Right,
yeah, obviously
in
now.
the,
And then
in the
he
aftermath, yeah.
man did some stupid shit. But
Right.
anyways, she's
Right.
not the asshole.
We
No, she's
gotta.
not.
I
y'all
said
agree?
yeah. I said yeah.
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 Okay.
I don't think she's the asshole.
No,
No.
No.
Let us know what you think, guys. Comment, like, share, subscribe. This is the Coffee Break Podcast. We'll see you next time. Bye.